Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, talking about the species that you choose for your character at creation. Yes, it turns out that whether you want to be a mystical elf, a hardworking dwarf, or the classic human adventurer, choosing your species matters. It doesn't quite have the same punch it used to. The ability scores have been taken away compared to their old 2014 counterparts, given to the backgrounds instead, but there's still plenty of things to like in this particular part of the handbook. And today we're talking about a real old staple, the orc. In the old player's handbook, it was the half orc, and then in the brand new one, they kind of took half races out of the picture and said, "No, we're just going orc. Orc is good. We like orcs. They are no longer the monstrous race that they were once considered. We're very equal opportunity here, and orcs are just here, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with playing an orc." We'll get into the details of the mechanics of playing an orc in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there next to the subscribe button under the video. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badges. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just being here, watching the video, liking, subscribing, all that stuff that costs absolutely nothing is such a good way to support me. Helps me out in the algorithm, helps me build the community. I love talking to you guys in the comments. So please, thank you very much for supporting me and enjoy the content. So orcs are humanoids, and they start off as medium-sized creatures. I guess I don't know why I said start off, because they're medium-sized creatures. That's how they are. And they're decent-sized folks, 6 to 7 feet tall. They're pretty tough, pretty tall. And being medium-sized is generally a better thing than being a small-sized creature. There are perks to both, but I think there's a little bit more to being medium-sized, so I say 10 out of 10. That's about as good as it gets. You've also got the standard 30-foot movement speed that most creatures have. Nothing wrong with that, nothing special. Moving 30 feet, it works. That's 9 out of 10. Then you get the adrenaline rush power. You can take the dash action as a bonus action, and you can do this proficiency bonus times per short or long rest. Now this is cool. Obviously rogues can do this anyway, monks can do this now, but everybody else getting that extra boost of speed is good. The additional part is that when you do this, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. So that's cool. At the beginning of the game, when you're level 1, twice per short rest, you can get an extra dash in there as a bonus action, give yourself 2 temp HP. That's not a lot, and the scaling of the temp HP isn't that much. It goes up to 3 at level 5. By the end of the game, you're getting 6, so that's a pretty minuscule amount. So this isn't the most. What's cool, though, is that you can do it a lot. Twice per short rest at the beginning, 3 to 4 later on, up to 6 at the end of the game per short rest. You've got more dashes than warlocks have spell slots. Is that a zinger? I don't know. Point is that this is a very repeatable ability. You do not have to be sparing with this. At the beginning of most fights, and probably in the middle of most fights, you're going to be able to do this. Give yourself that tiny little buffer and grant yourself the speed to get where you need to go. Now, is that worth 10 out of 10? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's worth 9 out of 10, just because there are some classes that can do this anyway, and the temporary HP just isn't really that good. It's very, very negligible. But it's nice if you aren't a rogue or a monk. So I'm still going to give it 9 out of 10 for being incredibly useful for most characters. You then have dark vision, and it's extended dark vision, 120 feet of it. Now, dark vision in general is amazing because seeing in the dark is fantastic. It's good for maneuvering, good for tactics. 120 feet, though, is awesome. This means that you will be able to get the drop on creatures that have normal dark vision. attacking them from a range where you can see them but they can't see you. So yeah, I think this is really powerful, and it's definitely worth the 10 out of 10. And then finally, you get the Relentless Endurance trait. If you're reduced to 0 hit points, you can instead drop to 1 hit point, and you can do this once per long rest. Now, what I love about this ability is that you can choose when you do it, and it works with the healing meta of the game. A lot of people think that, healing is an ineffective way to play, and that you're only really supposed to heal people when they drop to 0 hit points. So picture this. You're an orc, you're in battle, you get knocked unconscious. Your cleric decides, gotta pop you up, drop a healing word on you, or the wizard has his familiar give you a potion, something like that. You've got a couple hit points, not very many, but you're conscious. You get back up, you get back in the fight, and then a big hit comes your way. Someone crits you and just takes you out again. But guess what? All that damage that they would normally do to you is basically going to be reduced to nothing, because they're going to hit you. Let's say you've got 2 hit points left and they hit you for like 15 damage. No, they hit you for 1 damage because you use this ability, and instead of dropping to 0, you drop to 1. So from 2 to 1, and all that damage they did is worthless. Now, obviously, this isn't going to come up all the time. Effective players usually don't get knocked unconscious over and over again, but in the early stages of the game, it can be tricky to stay up. And your spell slots might be limited. Your cleric and your druid don't have unlimited heals on them. So I think that this is a very valuable thing, and it continues on throughout the game. Being hit by a meteor swarm or an upcast fireball, a finger of death, a disintegrate. There's so many ways to take you down 100 or more hit points in a single shot. And if you're already low on health, this just saves you. It wastes your enemy's resource and keeps you on your feet. I'm gonna give this 10 out of 10. I know some people might say that once per long rest thing makes it not as valuable, but I guarantee you, it's going to save your butt enough times and save yourself from death. I mean, if I told you that this could negate a crit, or if I told you that this could waste a single spell once per day from an enemy that was like, a high level, hard hitting spell, you'd call this pretty good. And that's what this is. It is a button you can press that just says nope to an enemy hitting you really, really hard. And I think that is worth 10 out of 10, even if you just do it once per day. And look at that. This is all the orc really gets. It's a very simple palette of abilities, and I think they're all really good. I think that having the extended dark vision and that relentless endurance thing, not to mention that, decent adrenaline rush power, I think orcs are 10 out of 10. I think this is a very, very well-built and well-balanced species that just has enough in it to say, yes, I want all of that. And that's what you want from your species. You're not going to build your character around these features. They're just going to enhance what you're already doing. And whether you are a raging barbarian, a sneaking rogue, or a magically inclined caster that is trying to stay alive on the battlefield, being an orc is going to be a really, really good choice. 10 out of 10, no question. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more species reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.